Greetings, everyone. Welcome to THL's Hearthcenter. I am one of your hosts for tonight, Lotus Knight, and I am joined by a squad of friends or whatever you want to call us. That is just, I think everyone is very happy to be here. So, to my left side, we have Super Chicken featuring the much beloved kitchen background. Chicken, how are you tonight?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I've been having fun with the new mini set so far. So yeah, it's been a pretty good day.
Nice. And also having fun with the mini set in a flowery background, we have our guest for the night, Azalea Kari. Azalea, how are you?
Doing well. I'm quite excited to be here. Yeah, the mini set has been pretty fun so far. I've got some games in. It's good.
For sure. I'm going to be honest, I have played less than I wanted to, but it is interesting to see cards in the game as always, and featuring the shelf background, which I think is the one we see every single week, unless I'm wrong. We have the one and only Neji Boston. Neji, how are you?
I am doing good. Mini set is fun so far. I excited that there's new cards, spice things up a bit. How are you doing, Lotus?
I'm doing great. I'm a bit tired, but nothing gives me more energy than be here and doing Hearth Center with you all. So, I'm ready to begin with some Player of the Week. Before we hop onto our show, so just our usual content. Today we're going to be doing Player of the Week, followed by Hero, Legacy, and Pro Playoffs. We're going to be talking about what happened. We will show you what is going to be happening next week. We are going to be going over every match that happened in those series, actually. There are 10 matches to talk about tonight, if I didn't forget anything. And we're going to go through all of them. So be ready for that. And after we do that, we're going, or in the middle of that, actually, we will do our wild player of the week, or not player of the week, our wild PPR, which is the final one, and we haven't done it yet. So we're going to end Wild PPR in the middle of the show. And we'll talk a bit mini sets. So to get us started with Hero Player of the Week, I want to ask Chicken, who got Hero Player of the Week?
Our hero player of the week is none other than Molestar. The odds seem stacked against APM's very own uh
I don't know.
Condulura Cristata
I
when
have no
he
clue.
when he won only a single game in the last 2 weeks of the season. Then he learned he had to face the top one seed in Hero, Ron Mexico. Then Justin told Ron on stream that Molestar could not ban or bring Death Knight because he had not completed the tutorial. But when the team was nearly down and out, Mole dug even deeper and created a new path. Control Warrior sweeping over DH and Shaman. Due to this huge upset, APM finds itself moving on one molehill higher, and thanks to Geranium Battle for the submission.
Thank you, Geranium, for those kind hero words from Molestar. Now, Neji, do you want to tell us our Legacy Player of the Week?
And do we have Risen is our legacy player of the week? There's no better time to step up big than in the final match of a playoff series against an undefeated opponent. Risen's 3-2 victory over Copa Keeper's undefeated 4 seed and namesake of the team Copa propelled standard THL degenerates to the semifinals. Congratulations and good luck in semifinals to you at STD from Azealia Akari.
Well, since we have Azalea Kari here, I want to ask her if there's anything Azalea wants to comment about this one.
Yeah, I mean, this was, win or go home. Both. I mean, any win for the players was the match. We'll see the full results later. But yeah, I mean, Risen played really well. He was able to take down Copa, and it pained me to have to write it. But for a good buddy like Risen, he did excellent to get his team to semis.
Nice. No, it's very important at this point. Really, people should be doing their best because we're getting so close, and it is playoffs. So one single point may mean a win very easily.
Yeah.
And thinking about that, I want to bring us to our pro player of the week. Fish, can you tell us, or not Fish, Azalea? I always get it confused. I
All
apologize.
good.
Can I ask you who it is?
For Bro Player of the Week, we have Corridon or Corrodin. A 10-point win does not sound that close on the surface, but every match in the round one playoff series between a perfect 10 Murloc and Punish Shed Ape went the full 5 games, and anyone could have easily flipped the other way. Garnier came into the playoffs undefeated at 4-0, but the Canadian Giant put an end to that run, overcoming a significantly unfavorable matchup spread to punch through wins with Pure Paladin, Evolved Shaman, and Curse Block, securing a 3-2 victory. Congrats, Corridon, and best of luck in round two.
Congrats,
Yeah,
Corden.
yeah, right up from Dr. BOMD.
And thank you, BOMD, for that nice write up. Well, Azalea, do you want to also tell us our wild player of the week?
Sure. Our wild player of the week is Nincity. Uh, this is the last week of the regular season, and there are 3 teams who can claim one of the 2 playoff slots left in Green Conference. World Shakers started the week in 3rd place, and there was still hope for them to clutch their way into playoffs. Wait, no, this is the wrong write up. My apologies. I'll get the correct write up now. Um, I got it. All right. Week 8 was the last week of the regular season for the Wild Series. Activision Propaganda Machine had their playoff spot already secured in the Brown Conference. The fight for the last spot was very close between Zarella's Disciples and the World Shakers. This is where Nincity comes in. XD being up 12-11 against Wild THL Fanatics. Nincity needed to get a win to secure the playoff spot to his team. Not only did he win, but he also swept his opponent with a good old bring best decks lineup, which locked the playoff spot for XD. Congrats on Player of the Week, and good luck to all the teams in playoffs. Just a write up from Copa.
Thank you, Koba, for writing a nice write up for Nincity, who wins Wild Player of the Week. And let's go for our final EU Pro Player of the Week of the season. Um, shall we talk about it? Do we really want to give it to this person, Chicken?
Yeah, well, we might have to. Our EU Pro Player of the Week is none other than Bobson. Captain Rebob has brought another F2L team to the finals. He personally added a nice sweep to the 13-10 victory over Donkey Hot last week. I may have personally slandered him last week by backing Donkey Hot. Whoops. But he's here in the finals looking to add an EU title to his wins. Is it coming home? Thanks to Base for that submission.
Nice. Thank you, Based, for submitting that Player of the Week. This squad is looking really hot. Any comments anyone wants to say on these 5 players of the week?
Yeah, we've held Rebob off for as long as we could, but I mean, getting a sweep to put your team into EU Pro Finals is certainly deserving of Player of the Week. So, congrats to Rebob on breaking the drought.
True. Congrats, Rebob, on finally getting there. Anything else anyone wants to share? Awesome. So I'm going to move us straight in to talk about Hero, where we're going to look at 2 Hero playoff matches. We had the first one being Department of League Administration versus Abusing PR Management. Chicken, why don't you tell us about this one?
Yeah, this was I think what most people would consider a bit of an upset. Um, Dola had been fairly dominant most of the season, didn't end up first. in Teal Conference, but had a very strong season nonetheless. They had a bit of a down week in week 7 of the regular season, and yeah, just fell a bit short in playoffs this week. And yeah, that's just kind of the nature of playoffs. A lot of the time, you have if your team has an off week and the other team's playing well, that could just be the end of the season for you. So yeah, it just kind of goes to show how important consistency is. And yeah, especially as we noted in the Player of the Week write up, most are getting a sweep while not being allowed to bring or ban Death Knight was certainly something. I'm not sure if he ended up completing the Death Knight tutorial afterwards, but yeah, that is that is pretty insane. And yeah, our very own Geranium battle taking down another member of Hearthcenter, Lotus Knight, in another sweep, which is pretty crazy. I mean, Dream has played in a 3 seed for basically the entire time I've been in THL. So him really punching up in the 2 seed against someone who's normally a 1 seed is was a pretty huge win for APM as well. Yeah, congrats to APM. Is I mean, I would say a pretty clutch performance, kind of punching above their weight class on a lot of matchups, and yeah, just a great performance overall.
Yeah, great showing by APM here. I mean, I was in the other side, but I can say they actually did a great job. Ooh, no one heard me. I want to say great job by APM, though, even though I was on the other side. They had some great matches, and I want to congratulate them on their win. Um, Azalea, anything you want to add?
Um, I guess. I mean, it's a really good win for APM. Like as it looks very even, and that might just be because of the updated points after this week. But yeah, as someone who's going to be facing APM, I'm quite excited to go to battle next week.
For sure. Now, let me bring us to our second match because there's so much to talk about tonight. Neji, why don't you tell us about Dead Legend facing the Late Bloomers?
All right, we had the Late Bloomers versus Dad Legend as our other match. Late Bloomers took it 20-5 in a playoff match. Very, very commanding win. Um, I won't list through the players because all of the Late Bloomers won, and Dad Legend did not pick up a match win, unfortunately. I believe this started off with Diamond and Pokemon 661 both winning, and then I was talking with Justin, and um, he said he, G-Kick, and Tab all played at the exact same time, and they all won, which they didn't actually need, but um, yeah, huge win here. Usually don't see sweeps in playoffs, usually a little bit closer, but Late Bloomers coming in with a 4-4 record, and I think a lot of people suspected that they were going to be a strong playoff team. Maybe, I don't say slacked in the regular season, but at the start of the season, we also thought that they were going to be a top contender. And I mean, they made their way into playoffs, and here they are sweeping in the first round. So 2 more weeks to go for Late Bloomers if they want to get the W, but very, very strong win here.
For sure. For sure. Um, Chicken, anything you want to share about this match?
Yeah, I did. I think I said last week that I thought Late Bloomers were gonna make the finals and challenge Ice Clown Citadel in the finals for the title. So yeah, this result isn't too surprising to me. I think Dad Legend kind of overperformed in their last week of the regular season, uh, and I think despite like finishing maybe like first in teal, I don't think they had a ton of consistency throughout the season.
Mhm.
So this result definitely was was not too surprising for me. I think on paper, the late bloomers are just like the better team. So when Justin whips everyone into shape and gets them practicing and preparing as they should be for playoff matches, I think they're a very difficult team to deal with. So yeah, just sort of playing up to their potential finally. It is funny that they made playoffs going 3-4, but uh, I think it's time now that people realize the late bloomers are potentially the best team in Hero, or at least are arguably so.
Strong words there as we think of late bloomers facing Dead Legend. This is going to be, and we are not going to see late bloomers facing F12. So, my question to you is Iceland Citadel versus APM and late bloomers versus F12. Who makes what is going to be the final? Who makes it? I'll start with Azalea.
Um, let me look. I have to look at. I just want to look at the matchups, just for the F12 series. Because I don't remember everybody. Because I know that F12 Obsidian has a couple of different players. So we have. I'm sorry, this is not helping me at all. Never mind. I think. I mean, obviously, I'm going to pick my team to win against APM. I'm going to pick Ice Clown Citadel to win over APM. It'll be a close week. There's definitely a lot of. They're definitely all very good players. But I think we'll edge them out and take the week. And then on the other side, Bloomers versus Obsidian. I think late Bloomers are going to win. Are going to win it. I think Obsidian has a couple of subs that are kind of newer to the team. So like, I think perhaps one of the better performing players isn't on the team right anymore. Um, so yeah, with Ariana kind of stepping out, although the team has been really good, this pretty much looks like another AFG invades F2L team. That's pretty cool. So it'll be close. Some real good matchups. But I think Bloomers versus Citadel for the title.
Fair. Neji, what's the title match?
Yeah, I think late bloomers are probably gonna take it to F2L. They're in tip-top playoff form here, and I'm also gonna say that the Clowns win as well. So late bloomers versus Ice Clown in the finals.
And Chicken, what's the finals?
Yeah, I don't think it's a I don't think it's a surprise for me to say that I think it'll be the late bloomers versus Ice Clown Citadel. Yeah, as I just mentioned, I think those are the two best teams on paper, and they both performed pretty well last week. So I think they're gonna keep it going and win their matches.
All right. So that is it for Hero tonight. I will keep us going, so we might end the show good show, but we have a ton of stuff to talk about. Um, Now let's move on to Legacy. Legacy had 4 matches. Yes, 4 matches. You heard me right. And we're going to start by looking at Dead Legend versus An Act to the Future. And Azalea, tell me what happened.
All right, so An Act to the Future versus Dad Legend. Unfortunately, I don't know the exact order of matches, but we see Based Ink. I know that the last match was actually Based Ink versus Lotus Knight. So, but other than that, Ron Mexico took a 3-0 sweep over King Viking 23. Who took a 3-2 win over Pescatarian, while Yellow Dart got a 3-1 win over Skittles, and Haster took a 3-1 win over Charup, which ended in Based versus Lotus, winner takes all, and Based came out on top in a 5-game set. So very unfortunate for Ron and Lotus, our usual host and co-host of Hearthcenter. But congrats to Dad Legend moving on.
That's the Dead Legend. I can say it was a very tough fight. Um, Edgy, any thoughts here?
Yeah, I would say, at least in my mind, this was a bit of an upset here. Knack to the Future had more points in the regular season and also was viewed as one of the top legacy contenders, I would say. Um, but Dad Legend pulling through, doing a little bit better than they did in the Hero playoffs, and getting some points and some wins, and just enough with the final match, Base Tank versus Lotus, 3-2 win to push Dad Legend into the semifinals.
Any final thoughts on this match before we move to our second match in Legacy?
Yeah, it was a tough week for the Lotus Run teams.
Yeah.
True.
Well, except for
We
one
will
of
see
them.
in pro.
Okay. Surely Brushy Tuna wins it this season.
Still enough time to see what will happen, but let's move to our second match, where we had the Clown Stoners facing E.T. Cthulhu. Neji, tell us about that.
Yeah, the Clownstoners did end up winning 14-11 over ET Cthulhu, but it was not an easy road to get there, I will say. I believe I was the first match to go.
Yes.
Chewy had a really good strategy against what I brought and just had better decks, I'd say, and played them well. So I lost 1-3 to Chewy. Then either Ricecryption or Canoe played next, and Trito took the win over Ricecryption on stream, and Canoe got the 3-1 over Eternal. And then it came down to Sunday. Mole and Kotamora both had to win, and Molestar started off with a 3-1 over Probe, and then later in the afternoon around Super Bowl, Kotamora 3-1 over Lowbrow. I believe it was game 4 for that match that
Yeah.
Lowbrow unfortunately queued their banned deck, and it was not caught until after the mulligan, so they took a game loss, which ended up being the series decider. But very close week overall. E.T. Cthulhu almost took down the Clownstoners, but just managed to get by them.
Yeah. And this is such a tight week. Azalea, anything you want to comment here?
Um, I mean, I was a bit surprised that Clownstoners went to the last game. Just but if you, I mean, just looking at the matchups, like everyone has very similar records up in the top three. So that going, 2-1, oh, to ET Cthulhu doesn't necessarily surprise me. But Clownstoner is getting it done in those bottom two seeds, and having a solid 5 and a solid 4 really helps you win championships because those top three seats are pretty close.
That's fair. Yeah, having just a strong, especially strong 4 seeds and 5 seeds is so important. It's a very underrated
Yeah.
THL fact. Any final thoughts anyone wants to share about E.T. Cthulhu versus Clownstoners? Okay, I'll take that to mean a no. As we look into our next match, where we had the standard THL Degenerates facing the Copper Keepers. Azalea, why don't you, as the captain, tell us what happened there?
Yeah. So the week it was pretty up and down, honestly. So we started off the week with Vino getting a 3-2 win over BOMD in a very close 5-game set, and then Memnarch got a sweep over Starlax, and followed by Hicket Smash got a 3-1 win. So we were a little ahead going into the last two matches. And then on Sunday, Saku got a 3-1 win over Clarity in the afternoon, and then a little bit before the Super Bowl, not exactly. During it, Copa and Risen had their series, and it was back and forth, and then Risen took the final game to knock Copa Keepers out of playoffs. So yeah,
Just this is such a good showing by Standard THL Degenerate. It's beating a really strong team, I would say.
yeah, yeah, definitely. They played very well.
And pretty insanely clutch win by Risen to win the week for STD, like,
Yeah,
handing Copa his first loss in the entire season when he had a total of 4 game losses
all season
leading up
long
to that.
prior. Yeah,
In a matchup where he was about 160 PR below Copa is
yeah,
pretty insane. And yeah, had Copa won it,
yeah.
even if Copa had won it 3-2, the
We
Copa
would have
Keepers would have
tied.
won it.
Yep, we would have tied and won the week. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's pretty insane.
Hmm.
Yeah, that is really crazy. Um, Now, thinking about these matches, is everyone ready to talk about our final legacy match?
Send it.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, let's talk F2L versus the season 22-23 format best of 5 with one event competitors, aka Chicken Team. Chicken, how did
Team.
that go?
Uh,
It did not go great for the competitors, unfortunately. Um, my match against Rebob, he was sort of going for an Evolve Shaman target. And I nearly pulled out the win, but yeah, I made a couple crucial misplays in my match that where I could have won at least one of the games had I played it differently, which feels pretty bad. But yeah, I ended up falling 3-2. Um, then I believe Gamer Dude lost his match shortly after that, and then Kitten lost his match. So at
mhm.
that point, the week was over. Um, but Turtle and Maya and Adon decided to play out their match for fun, and then Turtle ended up getting a 3-0. But I think Maya and Adon brought a couple of for fun decks.
Ah.
One was
Mhm.
so Turtle gets the win. It was a good season. Pretty disappointing end for our team, but yeah, congrats
Yeah.
to F2L White Rebob. I think Rebob came in with a pretty solid strategy um, to give himself kind of the best odds to win. And yeah, I think they kind of, I guess they were probably a bit better prepared than we were, or maybe they're, I don't know. I do think like we didn't not prepare or anything, but I think maybe they had a better idea of what they should bring, or it just lined up better into our stuff. But certainly well played by F2L White, and yeah, good luck to them moving forward.
Yeah. Neji, anything you want to say here?
um, Not much more than Chicken said. I know Chicken was actually in the match, but yeah, a bit of a upset here for the Chicken team, I will say. They were in the finals last season, so getting taken down in the first round has been unfortunate, but F2L White is a strong team. They've been in finals before. So we'll see how they do next week.
All right. So with these matches, I want to ask y'all who makes the finals. There are two matches. We have F2L facing Bad Legend and STD facing the Clown Stoners. So I'm going to start with Neji, who's completely biased here. Who makes it?
I'm gonna say Clown Stoners make the finals, and since F2L upset the Chicken team, I will go with F2L also in the finals.
And um, now I want to ask as well, Azalea, who makes it?
Finals for Legacy, Clown Stoners versus F2L White. That's, I think, the finals.
And finally, Chicken, who makes the finals?
I'm gonna say it'll be F2L White and the Clown Stoners. I think if Gimme Lamp and Myanodon kind of find their rhythm this week, I think F2L White's a really difficult team to beat. Mako's been having an incredible season, probably, or actually no, yeah, he's been doing super well in Hero and Legacy.
Yeah, he's 7-1 in both.
I was like, he's probably going to win Legacy MVP, but no, he's actually probably going to win Hero MVP. But
Yes.
so I was getting the two seasons mixed up, which is crazy. But yeah, 2 match losses across like both of those series. So he's been on an absolute tear. Rebomb having a really solid season, and obviously Totino's as well. So yeah, I think if the Myanodon and Gimme Lamp, even maybe just get like, I don't know, like 2-point losses. I think F2L will probably win the week and make it to finals. And then on the other end, yeah, Clown Stoners have just like, as usual, the clown team. They're in first. They'll probably make finals, unless Neji does a little frauding it up, which happens from time to time.
Nah,
So
me never.
it's who knows what's gonna happen really.
All right. Any final thoughts anyone wants to share about the Legacy playoffs? Okay, so this is the middle of our show. Usually I would do wild PPR first, but I thought this would be a better time to switch things up a bit and go first into what everyone is here to see, our commercial break. So let's get ready for our commercial. Neji, you haven't read our commercial in a while, so thought it would be a good chance for us to tell us how is it looking. And I want to ask a special request since today is Valentine's. If you can read our commercial with as much love as possible.
Oh, of course, always. And I just happened to mess it up a bunch and then noticed that I was the one that had to read it. So here we go. Commercial break. Yo, 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 yo. Hey there, Twitchalicious viewers. Have you subscribed to Team Hearth Fatigue? Bet. Then Mako today the day to Big A League EU Self and subscribe to our flannel. This scrubscription enables the THL team to help cover the scariest losses of Copit operating our DAB site, as well as improve the quality of our creams and content to our hooers. If you have AP Amazon Prime / Pitch Perfect Prime, you can subscribe the channel for free. Subscribers will get a THL emotibong as well as the THL chat badge. So smash the living daylight out of that thumbs down button and keep the notifications bing bong to make surely you don't catch our team Bat Chest Bing live. We do not appreciate each and every one of you homies. Special note to our viewers, chill out to thrill out THL's truth social media disappoints of Bat Chest. Webkite, teamhearthleague.debomb. Catch us on Twister at THHell_HS. Join us on Discord, Team Darth Vader League. Base us on Hearthstone, Neji Boston, #1248. Slide into our DMs on Tinder, Team Swipe Right League. The True Hearth Legends Sock Who and Father420 continue to roast all of our videos on our YouTube channel. And our True Hearth Legends themselves, Ronald Texaco, continues to post all of our Zero Championship banners on our THL web bites. Just search for Team Hearth Cope to see everything previously recorded, but who asked? You are enjoying us on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Team Hearth League, or possibly on our YouTube channel in the future. And for all of you THL fans out there, there were sometimes THL shows every single most days of the week. You can't go cronge Toon-Bing in at any time for some Hearthscopium-related content. Now back to the doomed part, ka-chow.
Ciao, indeed. Commercial's getting really good.
Ciao.
Now, I want to ask y'all before we go in, So far, what is your favorite part of the commercial? And I'll start with you.
There's a lot of good parts. I would say probably Cope It Up rating is a pretty good one.
Nice. Chicken, what is your favorite part of the commercial?
I'm enjoying AP Amazon Prime. Not an endorsement of APM, of course, but I have been enjoying that little play on words.
Nice. And Azalea, any thoughts on fun parts of the commercial?
Yeah. I think my favorite part is Ronald McTexico. Who's? That's a good part.
Nice. There are a lot of fun parts. I'm gonna be honest, I've enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
We are still going to have a few more times for Neji to mess it up more and more. And I'm sure it's going to be even less readable next week as we approach the last week of regular season. Also, we do need to figure out what's going to happen to interviews, etc. We'll figure it out soon.
Hmm.
Because we have all seasons ending at once, but we'll
Oh
figure
yeah.
something. I'm sure we can have an idea. That said, um, is everyone ready to go into Wild for a second and talk about all the players who made top 10 in Wild?
Absolutely.
Do it.
So, Azalea, tell us a bit about who made the list, who is actually in our top 15 Wild players, starting with honorable mention.
All right. Yeah. So honorable mentions for Wild PPR are Dr. BOMD at 6-2 with a 17-14 record. Marty B at 5-3. Nice Jewish Owl also at 5-3. We've got Lasagna at 5-3 and Extuliop at 5-3. That's the honorable mentions. And then moving into our top 10, it starts at number 10 with Maxibon, 1, 2, 3, 4 at a 5-3 record, 19-6 game score. At number 9, we have Memnarch at 5-2 record, 17-10 game score. Number 7 is Devalian at 4-3, 18-15. Number 6 as is OT Zaisha at 6-2 and a 20-12 game record. And cracking our top 5 starts with Mr. Games himself, Corbett, at 5-2 with an 18-9 record. And then in fourth, we have Reno Jackson. Not only does he restore all your health, but he also can go 7-1 in THL with a 23-12 game score. Next up is Lorthos in third place at 7-0 with a 21-7 record. If I imagine if he had played his final week, that eighth week and won, he would be a bit higher than he is now. And we have number 2 at 8-0, 24-12. We have Waluigi Time. And then in first place for Wild PPR is Seth or For Christ at 8-0 with a 24-11 game score. Congrats to everyone who made the top 15 of Wild this season.
Yeah, congrats to all the players here who made top
Oh, and I
Wild.
miss apparently I missed Squirrel at the bottom there at
Yeah, that
4
was
and
my
4,
bad.
19-16. Yeah.
So
I guess
congratulations.
Tulio is top 10. Yeah.
Yep. Now with all these players, any highlights, anything that came to you, Azalea, as you were saying them? Anything that impressed?
Yeah, 4 members of Viridian are on or 4 members of Viridian are up here, and there's a bunch of members of Sunken Shakers up here as well. Up two of the really good teams from Hero this season. Really happy to see Devalian make the top 10 as well. He had an excellent season. Yeah, we got 2 members of World Shakers getting up there, Owl and Devalian. That team having a pretty solid season overall. And then just generally like the sheer fact that we had that one team had 2 undefeated players in For Christ and Lorthos. It was absolutely insane. Um, so yeah, just the level of competition. I keep saying this. The level of competition goes up in Wild every season. Um, and I'm sure it'll get better next season as well.
For sure. Now, let's take a look at Pro because I want to end the show relatively on time as usual. I'm going to fail, but I'm going to try it. Um, Moving on to Pro Series, and congratulations to all Wild players here. We're going to start by looking at Brushy Tuna facing the Sushi Rats. And I want to ask Azalea actually to tell us about this match.
Absolutely. So this match ended um, with a Brushy Tuna victory, 16-6 over Sushi Rats. It took 4 matches. Our own Lotus Knight not having to play. I would imagine that the I'll just read top to bottom. I'm not sure if that's actual order, but I imagine that the 3-2s happened in the first 3. So Ron Mexico taking a
Pocket was
3.
the last one.
Ron was the last one.
No, Pocket I think was the last one.
Pocket was the last one. Okay, that would make sense. Yeah. So Ron took a 3-2 win over Scott Jones. McBannerface took a 3-2 win over Nightshade. Ridiculous Hat taking a 3-1 over Hickett, and Pocket Train finishing the match off with a 3-1 win over Griff. So congrats to Brushy Tuna moving on one step closer to another finals appearance.
Chicken, anything you want to share about this one?
Yeah, I mean, certainly not too surprising. I think. I mean, Sushi Rats were either like the lowest seed or the second lowest seed. I can't remember who finished higher between Brushy Tuna and Shed Ape in the regular season, but
Tuna ended second.
okay, yeah. So yeah, not particularly surprising. I think the surprising part to me is how much Curse Imp Warlock, or just how much Warlock in general there is in this match. Yeah, 3 Curse Imp locks and 4 Mind locks, which is certainly more than I would have expected in just any match. I feel like um Curse Imp Lock kind of gets overshadowed by other aggro decks right now. Kind of like namely, what's the deck? Oh, Unholy Death Knight. And yeah, as for Mindlock, there's just like a lot of stuff that kind of steamrolls it right now. So I think like that both decks kind of have a place where they are good, and that they definitely have some good matchups in the meta right now. But yeah, I think for at least to me, they both seem like somewhat risky brings.
Fair point. Um, I don't know. I feel like the whole team just really wanted Warlock. Who knows what will happen post match, really? Any further thoughts anyone wants to share about this one before we move on to our next pro match? All right, so Neji, why don't you tell us about Shed Ape facing a perfect 10 Murloc?
All right, we have a 20-10 win for a perfect 10 Murloc over Punished Ape. Huge upset here. A perfect 10 Murloc was 2-5 coming into the playoffs, just making it in, and Punished Ape was the highest point team in all of Pro, I believe. I think they edged out the other conference too. Not 100% sure, but yeah, Punished Ape was, I would say, very favored going into this match, but they actually got fully swept, and they all went to 5 games. So this is pretty insane. Not the expected outcome whatsoever. But I mean, 5 game series all the way down probably could have gone either way in the end. But ended up all going towards a perfect 10 Murloc. So yeah, wow, this is a pretty crazy result here. Was not expecting to see this one. So very well done to a perfect 10 Murloc. Congrats on your win. And they will be playing the Clowns in the semifinals.
Yep. This is I would say the biggest upset of the week, at least in pro. Maybe in I don't know. I'm not going to say maybe in all series, but definitely in pro this was the biggest upset. What do you think here, Chicken?
Yeah, Punished Ape is a pretty tricky team to play against. Notably, a couple players on the team tend to try to go for hard reads and hard counter their opponents. Um, and oftentimes it works, but as he like Heat Shock, I guess knew Chewy was going to bring Mind Lock, and he brought 4 decks that are meant to counter Mind Lock, and still lost. I imagine both of his 2 wins were against Mind Lock, but I mean, if you have like a bunch of 60/40s, um, you still need to take like a 60% chance, like 3 times in a row to actually win the series. So it's a strategy that I think like Shed Ape will always do because that's kind of their identity. But I think yeah, it shows here that it does kind of backfire sometimes. Kind of hyper focusing on a single strategy, and especially when like most people in pro know that's what you're gonna do. Tends to become a bit predictable, and I think APM had a pretty good idea of what they were gonna run into going into this week.
Fair.
Yeah, just looking down at the scouting here, it looks like Heatshock Shaman actually got swept, did not win a game, and lost to the Mine Warlock that he was trying to target in game 5 of the series.
Ah,
Unfortunate.
That is definitely unfortunate, but let's keep it moving to our next match where we'll look at F12 versus XD. I'm sad we don't have Drain because he was so high on XD, but I want to ask here, Azalea, any thoughts here?
yeah. So this match ended up going 16-10 in XD's in Azarella's disciples' favor, with Marty B taking a 3-1 over Lasagna in in the top spot. Then Dabs getting a 3-1 over Seth. Uh, the Corbett did get a 3-2 win over Diamond. And Rebob took a sweep over Tom Carter. And XD's final, the other match for them was Lowbrow versus Itachi, where Lowbrow got a 3-2 victory over Itachi. So a close series overall. Um, and even though it's 6 points, the 2 wins for XD kept them in the match. But yeah, congrats to F2L. They are still in it. They have some team in every series left in playoffs.
Congrats to F2L for the strong showing versus XD. Neji, as an F12 player, what do you want to say here, or ex F12?
Well, as an F2L player, I can tell you that F2L is not allowed to win championships. So
True.
they will not make it further than Brushy Tuna in the semifinals. But yeah, all jokes aside, this is a nice win for them over XD. XD started the season off a little shaky, but managed to push their way back into playoffs just to get taken down by F2L, unfortunately. And it did come down to Dabs versus Seth, was the final match. And Dabs got the win there. So well done to F2L. We'll see them next round.
Yeah, great job for F12. I'm sure we're going to have to see them. Well, I'm going to have to see them directly because we're facing them. But there's going to be more to talk next week as we see F12 versus Brushy Tuna. But let's talk about the other match that happened. We had the Clowns versus APM. Now, Chicken, why don't you tell us about that match?
Yeah, this match was great because I didn't have to play. That's always fun. My team ended up winning for me, except for Neji. Neji did
You know
contributed
what?
exactly 0 points to the cause.
Raji
Uh,
Boston strikes again.
yeah, if you got the chance to see that on stream, it was a pretty funny match and was over pretty quickly. uh, yeah, Max took a pretty swift 3-0 sweep over Neji, but yeah, the rest of the team managed to win out and made it so I could take my Sunday off and relax, which was very nice of them. Yeah, Lambie's match was pretty funny because he got his his Boon Priest got hard targeted because he'd brought it like 7 weeks in a row. But he still won.
Because he's that good.
Yeah, maybe people should just ban the deck. He is just still winning with it. He has been hard targeted like 3 weeks in a row and is still winning with it.
Mm.
Maybe people will learn eventually. Um, but yeah, it was pretty solid week for us overall. Um, I think I think we sort of hit what we were expecting to for the most part. There weren't too many huge surprises,
Mhm.
Yeah.
except for Neji. Neji was very surprised. um, but yeah, it worked out. Um, you know, always good to get the win. Not too much more to remark on the match, I suppose. I think it was just we were expect like I don't know, we were expecting to win and we did. Well played to APM. I think they put up a pretty good showing, but yeah, just on to the next round now against a perfect 10, the other APM team, a perfect 10 Murloc.
Here we are going to see a perfect 10 Murloc facing Chicken is down just in time to clown, but this is such a Warlock last match after the ones we saw, and especially a very warrior match. Anything you want to share about that Neji?
Um, yeah, Chicken and Justin like Warrior, and they brought it. um, Pee Wee banned Enrage Warrior because it looked pretty unfavored, surprisingly. So maybe Warrior is actually playable. Um, but yeah, close week. Almost came down to Chicken versus Base. Pee Wee went to game 5. Was down 1-2, I believe, and came back and won that for the week win. And yeah, the Lambie thing with Boon Priest is pretty funny. Both me and Justin were like, "They're gonna hard target you, Boon Priest. You brought it 7 weeks in a row," and he was like, "Oh, okay." So I should switch off it, and we were like, "Yes." And then he's like, "All right, so I think I'm gonna bring Boon Priest." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "I'm gonna win anyways. Don't worry." I was like, "Okay, they're gonna hard target it." He's like, "It's fine." And then they literally brought the 4 decks to beat it, and he still won anyways. So what
Yeah.
am I to say? I'm the one who got swept.
That is fair.
There's
You did get
a
swept.
Yeah, I guess there's a certain skill bar for
Yeah,
for just getting hard targeted and not caring about it. And
true.
one of our teammates was above that bar.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else anyone wants to share about this match? All right. So, taking into account this was our final match that we were talking about tonight, I want to bring us to the pro playoffs. We have a perfect 10 Murloc facing Chicken and F12 facing Brushy Tuna. What is going to be the finals? Neji, I'll start with you.
I think we're all going to say the same thing, and it's going to be chickens. Well, technically, chickens versus brushy tuna in the finals once again. And it was like that last season. I think both of them are the top teams in Pro Series, and it's probably going to be a very close finals, but you never know. There are upsets sometimes. We saw it over Shed Ape this week, so who knows?
Fair. And Chicken, who makes the finals?
I think we're gonna have Chicken is down just in time to clown versus F2L. Um, I think Ron Mexico is on severe fraud watch at the moment. Recently getting knocked out of both Legacy and Hero, and Lotus, I think you're right behind him. Just-
Oh
no,
no.
not actually, but I don't know. I think F2L is not that like I don't think F2L is like too far off from Brushy Tuna. I think I don't know. I'll make a contrarian prediction for the sake of being a little bit different, and yeah, I'll say F2L is going to make the finals.
Fair. Tough, but fair. Gotta say. Um, I hope not, but we'll see what happens. And Azalea, who makes the finals?
I think I'm gonna agree with Neji. I'm gonna say chicken clowns versus brushy tuna. Although F12 versus brushy tuna would be the match that could have I think will have a greater chance of a flipped result. Where I think the teams are a bit more even. I think I think I think the clowns are uh gonna be pretty favored against APM this week. Although they did just full sweep, so you never know. Upsets can happen. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I would just say wash, and it's a rematch of finals.
Fair.
Or it goes chalk, and then it's a rematch of finals.
Fair. Any
Mhm.
final thoughts anyone wants to share about Pro at all as we move back to our main screen? All right, so back in our main screen, we have our checkout question of the night, which is actually what is going on in Hearthstone now? We have a new expansion, new stuff all around. You can play new cards, new decks. And I asked each of you to tell me a good and a bad card. So I'm going to start with Super Chicken. Chicken, tell me, what do you think is a good and a bad card that was released this time?
Okay, a good. Let's start with the good card. I think a good card is the Purator. I think Paladin really needs draw. Um, I cannot remember the last time Paladin had a card that drew more than one card on its own. Um, like actually, like I don't know. I guess if you count Service Bell, that sort of counts, but it just draws the same card if it's if both copies in your deck. So and it's like basically Arcane Intellect that you sort of get to pick sometimes. Um, so yeah, I think Paladin getting a piece of draw like this is like incredibly impactful, and will probably make like I mean I assume Pure Paladin will probably continue to be a relevant deck going into the next competitive year because of this card or the next standard year. Um, so yeah, I think the Purator is awesome, and when they fix the card and make it a mech, it'll be even cooler.
Fair. And what is your bad card?
Well, everyone knows the worst class is, of course, Paladin. So a bad card is Goldwing. Why, like, 4 mana, 3/5 rush, battle cry if you're holding a mech gain Wind Fury. Why is the Wind Fury conditional? Why is this card conditional at all? I mean, that was kind of like the case for a few cards that came out this mini set. Like Suspicious Peddler, why is that card like conditional? Aside from like sort of thematics, but um yeah, there's like a lot of cards that are very conditional that came out this mini set and just are not good because of that. So I think it's kind of weird that they made the Wind Fury conditional. Like I don't think that would have made too much of a difference. Maybe there's like some like insane crazy mech dragon synergy coming out next expansion that like They couldn't possibly have made this card good. Otherwise, the game would be absolutely broken. But yeah, this card's a bit underwhelming. It's like decent in arena sometimes, but I think in standard, this card just like doesn't really like as a turn 4 play, it just doesn't really move the needle too much. And if you were playing this in like a pure paladin, there's definitely better plays on turn 4.
Fair. I do agree with you. I think this is very bad. Just not a great card. I do think the Purator is a good card, but I want to see other people's opinion. Azalea, tell me, what is a card you think is good and what is a card you think is bad?
A card that I think is good is Construct Quarter, Death Knight location card. 3 mana with 3 durability, with 3 uses. Destroy a friendly minion, summon a 4/5 undead with rush. It's just seems like a very solid card. It can fit in multiple art. I think it will fit in multiple archetypes of Death Knight, and it works with the hero power. So I think overall it's just a very solid card. Um, it's a little crazy that it has three-time use, but it makes it a very good card. And a bad card that I have seen a ton of play, I just don't think it's good, is Rivendare War Rider. I think it's a neat concept. It's a funny card, but I think like it's way too it's like very complicated to do all the steps and have it played without the game taking forever. And by then you're gonna die. Because there's a lot of powerful fast decks.
All right. And Neji, tell me, what is a good card and what is a bad card that you're thinking here?
I'll say good card is Nofin's Impossible. 2 mana to give all your demons and murlocs a death rattle. Someone's a 2/2 imp / murloc. Seems like a pretty good board buff. It's like 2 mana Soul of the
Yeah.
Forest, which is kind of insane. So I mean, maybe we can try it in imps, like maybe pure imp lock, no curses. Try that out. But maybe just in the future too. Seems pretty efficient. And it can work with imps and murlocs, which is cool. And let's see. For a bad card, I'm going to go with Tear Reality. 4 mana to add 2 random mage spells from the past to your hand. They cost 2 less. I mean, cards from the past are usually not good because cards get better over time, usually. So this kind of just reads to me add 2 bad random mage spells from old expansions to your hand, and it costs 4 mana. They get a slight discount, which is cool, but definitely seems like a more of a for fun card. Try and roll some
Yeah.
puzzle box of Yogg-Sarongs or something,
I,
or
I
ice
was
blocks. So
I was gonna I was
yeah,
gonna say counterpoint 8 mana box,
yeah,
but you mentioned it.
yeah. For the most part, not a competitive
Exactly.
card,
Yeah.
but
I agree.
definitely a cool card, fun card to try out.
Right. And I think that is it for our show tonight. I want to take this opportunity to thank Super Chicken, Azalea Kari, and Neji Boston for being here. Always great having you all. Always good talking about playoffs. There's so much to talk about next week as we hop into finals for the 3 series that we covered here in Hearthcenter. And keep an eye out for everything that we have to say or that will happen over the week and for our show 2 weeks from now, actually, because we are going to not have a show because of the weird schedule due to the mini set. There's an extra week. So we'll see you in 2 weeks to talk about this stuff. Maybe we'll think of something next week. I don't know. But I want to wish you all a good night. If you want to play on your match on stream, DM in the stream matches. We're looking for matches, especially next week. And we will see you all then. Later, everyone.
Have a good night.